The next thing we are going to teach the horse is to stand still or stay while you walk away from them, walk around them, or do other things. To begin teaching this, stand next to the horse and take a tiny step away from them. If they move to follow you, gently use the halter to push them back a step to where they were. Then again try stepping away from the horse really quickly, almost so quick that they don't realize that you've even moved. If the horse stays still, click and step back towards them and then give them a treat. Keep repeating this, just taking a tiny step away from the horse. Every time the horse moves, gently use the halter to push them back to where they were. Don't click for the backward step, only click if they stand still while you take a step away from them. Do lots of repetitions until the horse will stand still while you take one step away from them. You can then begin to gradually increase the distance that you walk and have the horse stand still. The first criteria we're looking for is to have the horse keeping its feet still. In this example, there are lots of flies around and the mare was lifting her front feet, stomping at the flies. So I have to try to be careful and time my click with when her feet are still. When you get further away, you can use your visual cue to back the horse up if the horse does try to move and follow you. Do lots of repetitions at each stage to consolidate the behaviour before you try getting further away from the horse. Once you can get to the end of the lead rope, you could then also start to increase the duration, or how long the horse has to stand still before you click and treat. If the horse goes to move, try to back them up as soon as possible, rather than waiting for them to take 3 steps and then trying to back them up. The horse will understand sooner if you back them up immediately when they start to move. You can use the lead rope as well as your visual cue to send a little wave down the rope when the horse moves. Leave them alone and click and treat when the horse is standing still for slightly longer. You could then try rubbing the horse before you walk away from them. Sometimes this will be enough to make them want to follow you again. So go back to the beginning and rub the horse and just take one small step away from them. If they stand still, click and treat. If they go to follow you, gently back them up. And repeat this until the horse will stand still, even if you rub them before you walk away from them. This will be really useful if you're brushing the horse or saddling them up or any of the number of things we do with the horse on the ground. It's really handy to have a horse that will stand still. Remember to always wait for the horse to look away after you've clicked before you feed them. It doesn't have to be much, but just as long as the horse is moving its nose slightly away from you rather than turning towards you when it hears the click. You could then try walking around in front of the horse and having them stand still while you change sides. Each time you begin a new training session with the horse, Go back to the beginning and train the behaviour as though you've never done it before. So this is another session I did with the same horse. And I went back to the beginning of just taking one step away. You can see that I've also started to add a visual cue, holding my hand flat just before I leave the horse. This becomes the signal to stay. However, really the horse should learn not to move unless I give them a signal to move. But it can be handy to have another way to ask the horse to stand still. So give your visual cue, hold your hand out flat towards the horse, and then take a step away from them. If they move, back them up. If they stand still, click and treat. Standing still is a great thing to practice when you're giving the horse a rest from other exercises during training. It's important to spend the time training the horse to stand still in their own space away from you at the end of the rope. We do so much work up close with the horse, it's really good to teach them to stand still on their own as well. This gives the horse some independence and also teaches them some patience. Having a horse that will stand still makes the training much more relaxing for you as well. It's a good idea to work on this exercise in as many different environments as possible, starting in a nice calm environment and gradually build the amount of distractions that you train this with. Eventually you should be able to have your horse stand still in any environment no matter what's going on. You could also start to add the verbal cue stand before you walk away from the horse. So adding in your verbal cue stand, your visual cue, hold your hand up, and then walk away from the horse. You can use whatever cues you like, but those are the cues that I use. You can also progress to training this exercise on a longer lead rope so that you can walk further away from the horse and still have them standing still. I like to have the lead rope dropped on the ground so that I'm not accidentally using even the slightest pressure to pull the horse forwards. You do need to be careful that the horse doesn't stand on the lead rope though. So after doing this exercise, you should have a horse that will stand still in any environment, even when you walk away from them. And this will make your horse training so much more fun and relaxing when your horse will stand still quietly and have a rest. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you're having fun clicker training your horse. See you next time.